Here's the auto-split version of the script, with each paragraph containing 1 or 2 sentences as per your request. It's in English, with no numbering, no extra spacing between paragraphs, just a new line for each split. Have you ever stopped to wonder how someone you'd call a good person could do something terrible? Picture a kind soul you admire slowly changing into someone you barely recognize. It's a haunting thought that lingers in the mind. Beneath everyday life, a hidden current can pull even the best of us into darkness. History whispers this truth to us over and over. Ordinary people, not monsters, commit acts that leave us speechless. Today, we're diving into that unsettling question. Why do good people sometimes do bad things? It's a puzzle about who we are and what we're capable of when pushed. By the end, you'll see the gears that turn a compassionate soul into something else. You'll also walk away with tools to spot these forces in your own life. Let's start with a name that echoes through psychology: the Lucifer Effect. It's the idea that our surroundings can reshape us in ways we'd never expect. Imagine a group of college students just like anyone you'd meet. They're split into guards and prisoners, and within days, everything changes. The guards turn cruel, the prisoners break down. What began as a game becomes a nightmare, all because of the roles they were given. It's chilling to think about, but it's not fiction. Zimbardo's experiment showed how quickly we can lose ourselves in the situation. History backs this up with stories that hit harder. Think of guards in concentration camps or soldiers in brutal wars. These weren't devils born with pitchforks. They were neighbors, fathers, sisters, swept into a tide they didn't fully understand. So, what flips the switch? One piece of the puzzle is authority. Stanley Milgram ran an experiment where people were told to shock someone. They didn't know the screams were fake, but most kept going anyway. Why did they do it? A man in a lab coat said it was okay, and that drowned out their conscience. Pause and think about your own life. How often do you follow orders without asking why? What if someone asked you to bend your morals just a little? Would you notice the line before you crossed it? Then there's dehumanization, a heavy word that happens so easily. When we stop seeing someone as a person, hurting them doesn't feel wrong. You see it in war propaganda and online arguments. Labels creep in, and empathy fades away. Look around today. Social media reduces people to avatars or tribes. How often do you judge a group without a second thought? That's the seed of something darker taking root. Group dynamics play their part too. In Zimbardo's prison, students changed because of each other. The guards egged one another on. The prisoners sank together into despair. It's the power of the crowd, subtle but overwhelming. We forget who we are and lean into what others do. Ever stayed quiet in a group when something felt off? That's it at work. These forces aren't locked in labs or history books. They're alive in your world right now. At work, in school, even at home, they whisper in your ear. The pressure to conform or obey is always there. But there's a moment where it all shifts. It's quiet, sneaky, a small choice to look the other way. Have you ever let something slide because it was easier? Those tiny steps stack up fast. Are some people immune to this? We'd like to think the good ones can't be touched. Psychologists say no, not really. We all carry the potential for light and shadow. Carl Jung called it the shadow. It's those hidden corners we don't like to face. Ever snapped at someone and shocked yourself? That's the shadow peeking out. The good news is knowing it exists gives you power. If you see these forces, you can fight them. There's another trick the mind plays: moral disengagement. It's how we convince ourselves bad stuff isn't so bad. Everyone does it, we say. Or it's for a good reason. And guilt doesn't sting anymore. Think about a time you bent the truth. Maybe you told yourself it didn't matter. That's moral disengagement at work. It smooths the way for choices you'd normally dodge. So how do you push back? Start with moral vigilance, keeping your eyes open. Ask, am I making excuses for something wrong? It's uncomfortable but keeps you honest. Empathy's your shield here too. When you really see someone, it's harder to hurt them. Stories and art remind you we're all tangled up in humanity. A good conversation can do the same. Leadership matters too. A single voice can tip the scales. Hitler twisted millions into hate. Gandhi lifted them toward peace. Who do you follow? What ripple are you sending out to others? You don't need a podium to lead. In your circle, your choices set the tone. Do you lift people up, or let division fester? Here's where it gets hopeful. The same forces that drag us down can lift us up. The right push can turn you into a hero. It's all about what you feed. So how do you build that strength? Moral courage is key, doing what's right when it's hard. Think of Rosa Parks sitting firm on that bus. She wasn't superhuman. She chose to be brave. You can practice it too. Know your values and test them. Imagine tough spots. What if your boss pushed you to lie? Rehearse your answer now. Surround yourself with people who get it. A crew that's got your back makes it easier. Ever notice how braver you feel with a friend? That's no accident. Watch your surroundings too. If a place feels off, step back. Ask, is this who I want to be? Sometimes walking away is the strongest move. Small acts add up. Call out a mean joke or help someone struggling. It's not flashy, but it shifts things. One spark can light up a room. Don't skip the mirror either. Did you live what you believe today? Where did you slip? It's about growing, not beating yourself up. Can we kill the Lucifer effect for good? Maybe not. Zimbardo talks about a heroic imagination. It's seeing yourself as someone who can rise up. Start small, help a stranger, or choose patience. Study the greats who fought for what's right. Their stories aren't fairy tales. They're proof it's doable. Here's the big truth that ties it all together. Good and evil aren't out there. They're in you, in me, in every heart. Solzhenitsyn said the line cuts right through us. That's heavy but freeing too. Every second you get to pick your side. Mess up? Forgive yourself and keep going. Imagine if we all owned that. A world where we choose compassion and guts. It's not a dream. It's what we make step by step. So what's your move? Next time you're tested, will you bend or rise? You've got the tools now. The rest is up to you.